Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, Entertaining live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It is Friday, March the 26th. I'm Stephanie here with Brandon and Tori's joining us. Jeff is at home living the good life.
I haven't been on a access panel with you since you came up here, moderated, and was hiccuping.
Oh, God, it was a good time. When you have the hiccups on live TV, isn't
You're
that
looking
lovely?
gorgeous.
Looks great.
Thank you all. Thank
Looks
you all.
great.
Good to see you.
Love it.
Thanks.
Okay, let's get to it. Kim Kardashian is sharing what the final straw was in her marriage to Kanye West. So as you know, Kim Ye's 6-year marriage has been the center of divorce rumors this past month. And now we know that trouble began last July, which is when Kanye announced a run for president before calling Kim and her mom white supremacists on Twitter. Ideal, isn't it? All of this was dished in last night's episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and Khloe is making headlines too. But unlike her bigger sister, it's about what Khloe is not saying. According to a recent interview, she believes in never talking bad about her exes, which I think is an amazing policy. So what do you guys think? Is it okay to talk about your ex relationships? What do you think?
Yeah? Really?
Yeah. I mean, you had the experience. You own that 50% of that relationship. I think it only helps grow. Now, I think Khloe doesn't do it. And when I mean she doesn't do it, she doesn't do it about Lamar Odom or anyone. She's good about this. She's in the spotlight. And for her to say something could change a whole brand, right?
Okay.
In overnight with a tweet. So for me, though, of course I would want to know about my husband's exes and therefore I think that's important. No? Am I crazy?
Okay, so let me, okay. Is it okay not to talk about them on a more national forum, or is it okay not to talk about them when you're just going for drinks with your girls?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call out an ex on this show, but there are some I could.
What
about you, Steph?
I think it depends on the circumstance. Like, I would never speak about an ex. Like, I'd mention scenarios. I would never say who they are or go into any great depth or detail, obviously, in front of America. But obviously, to you guys,
yeah, for sure.
I spill all the tea.
Yeah.
But also, I think the way that Kim does it is very clever. So she was obviously showed all the highlight reel only up until 2018, and then she started letting the cameras capture her reactions, phone calls. I think she laid a bit of the groundwork for what was coming.
To be super honest, what we saw was a prosecution's dream, because she got to phrase it as one side of the story, her on the phone with Kanye.
Yeah.
You only hear her reactions and see it. Brilliant in terms of a legal or branding marketing move. I thought so too.
Oh, I tell you what, Chris is always 10 steps ahead.
Smartest woman ever.
And by not hearing Kanye, it plays with our imagination, and that's where the headlines run rampant.
100%.
And now we're still talking about the Kardashians.
I love them.
Of course. All right, let's talking about someone else. This one's a bit more saucy. So Jane Fonda says her sexy time days are over for good.
Come on, Jane.
The 83-year-old actress is on the cover of April's issue of Harper's Bazaar. Look
Slay
at
me.
her.
Are you kidding?
She looks amazing. So she told the magazine if she were to be in a sexual relationship now, it would have to be with a younger man because, quote, it's a thing about skin. But I wouldn't bet on any sexy time happenings, as Jane also told them her past marriages made her realize she's not capable of intimacy. Instead, her attraction to men, like ex-husband Ted Turner, was because they never asked Jane to, quote, show up. Okay, this makes me think she's the worst partner ever.
She is. I think she owned up to it. The article is really interesting. She said, I'm just not good at this. But she said, you know those women or men that go into the relationship and become their partner? Like they have no sense of self? She said Ted Turner would be like, you're going to learn how to hunt. So I learned how to hunt. You're going to learn how to fly fish. So I learned how to fly fish. No one was ever just like, hey, Jane, I want you to show up. But I think you're right. I think what she's saying here is, I'm not a really great partner. And I think she's owning that as I'm just not a great compatibility with someone all the time.
Once I got over the whole too much skin thing, and I really...
No, it's a skin thing, not too much skin thing.
and I read, what she was saying. She was saying that if she met a professor or some sort of researcher, then she would be somewhat involved with that. And
I find that so weird.
But I took that. But here's how I took that. I took that she, instead of it being more physically sexual, it's more of an intimacy
Yeah, she's a
thing.
cerebral
It's more
thing.
of a cerebral thing.
Yeah.
What's it? Sapiosexual.
Oh, yeah.
Sapiosexuals. So that's how I looked at it. I mean. Yeah, that's how I look. That's how I took everything she
She's
said.
more
It was more of
mentally
an intimacy.
stimulated, clearly.
Yeah, but also think about it, right? Like her whole life, she's Hollywood royalty. Jane Fonda, Henry Fonda, her father. She kind of has had all great experiences. And I feel like if you want to really impress Jane Fonda, it's going to be super hard, and she just doesn't have time for you.
But also, what do you get back in return?
Jane Fonda.
But
At
what do you
86,
get
Jane
back
Fonda
in
at
return?
86.
She
What do
looks amazing. I think.
I mean, she looks amazing, but I want a bit more than like someone who just looks good.
Well,
I
she's
want
also a strong
participant in my
activist. She's a strong activist. She gets arrested almost every Friday.
what is that doing
Give me more.
for me?
Give me more.
She's a great movie actress. She's a great Hollywood star.
But if you're
Again,
saying,
what is that
thank
doing
you. If
for
you're,
me?
if you're saying you want a young man, he doesn't care about her getting arrested every Friday.
So my question is, if you're a young man, let's say you're like 25,
Okay.
you would never be interested in like a superstar who's much older.
An 86-year-old
Okay, so no.
superstar
No,
at
okay.
25.
I think like if to be interested in someone, if there's that much of an age difference, there's got to be some sexual chemistry. There's got to be something that they're mentally stimulating.
Yeah, I know.
I don't care that you were a famous actress way back when and your dad was famous. Like, I don't care. Like, what are you bringing me? If you're not going to be, my love language is like physical touch. I just want to be like smothered all the time. Smother me.
And that's what she says she doesn't like.
But she doesn't like it. And then she says, oh yeah, unless it's a skin thing. I don't know.
But she's owning it. She's saying it's a problem. It's a skin thing.
And she's 83, not 85.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's good to know.
So.
That
I
changes
mean, she
things
looks
for you.
gorgeous. She looks gorgeous and she's killing it, so
Yeah,
good
she
for
does.
her.
There you go.
Whatever works for you. Okay, a special shout out and congratulations to two new celeb mums. Emma Stone and Bindi Irwin have both given birth to their first child. Bindi's daughter is named Grace Warrior Irwin. The middle name Warrior Irwin obviously being a tribute to Bindi's late dad Steve, but there's no word yet on whether Emma had a boy or a girl or what she's named the baby.
She, first of all, mazel tov, but she was in an SNL sketch and the writer was there helping to direct it. They made eyes, husband,
Just
made
like
a baby.
that.
That's her partner. Isn't that cool?
I like that
Like a
story.
funny writer. I love it.
That's another way it wins your heart, doesn't it?
Humor. Totally.
I'm writing all this down.
Humor,
right now.
you're so right.
Humor
So
and,
true.
and not a lot of skin.
Beautiful. Okay, coming up on DBL, we're
still
talking
stuck
with
on
stand-up
that.
comedian Jo Koy from his relatable style of comedy to selling out arenas before the virus. Get ready to laugh. And the red carpet is returning for the Oscars, and I'm telling you, the one look that's been banned.
Whoa.
Don't miss Fashion Fix Friday.
Closed captioning provided by
Upgraded.
Most businesses are allowed to welcome back 75 to 100% of their customers today. So why are bars stuck at 50%? Let's connect the dots. Throughout the pandemic, bars have been the last place where North Carolina eases restrictions. Customers were not even allowed inside until a month ago. And even then, crowds have been extremely limited at just 30% capacity. Experts say bars can be a breeding ground for the virus. Let's be honest, after having a few drinks, social distancing gets more difficult. People are also talking louder, laughing, or even singing, all of which can easily spread the virus in the air. But the governor is trying to cut bars some slack. He's increasing max capacity slightly from 30 to 50%. One thing that's going to make a big difference, no more alcohol curfew. Bars may have fewer customers, but they'll be able to serve more drinks, with last call moving back to 2 a.m. And that is connecting the dots.
I'm Stephanie Jones, and it's Friday, which means it's time for your fix of beauty and style news. Like the one fashion choice you won't be seeing on this year's Oscars red carpet because it's been banned, and later, why platinum blondes can have fun at any age. Fashion Fix Friday starts now. But first, Jessica Simpson is writing the book on looking effortlessly chic once again. Last year, her book tour outfits were just as buzzworthy as her bombshell memoir, and now she's back with more show-stopping looks as she's promoting her book's paperback version. Let's dive in. On Tuesday, the author brought her A game in grey flare pants and a red button-down blouse. For an extra touch, she matched the gold buttons with heart-shaped gold earrings. Later, Jessica traded in her red-hot ensemble for a pretty in pink turtleneck. She paired it with a black snakeskin skirt and tall black boots. So this way, the pink colour can pop without looking too over the top. And we're closing out this chapter of Jessica's lookbook with a long-sleeve black peplum top with accessorizing gold belt and the same black boots. If you love watching celebrities play dress up as much as I do, then a new rule at this year's Oscars will be right up your alley. No more Zooms or living room backgrounds. The red carpet is back, baby, for 2021. But that's not all. Show producers are specifically banning sweatshirts and sweatpants from appearing on the red carpet. You might be able to thank actor Jason Sudeikis for that rule. His Golden Globes hoodie went so viral that it still is sold out online, and it's a bold move after a year where athleisure and comfy looks have reigned supreme. I want to know, are you ready for glamour to make a big comeback, or should Hollywood keep up with the changing and comfier times? We're wrapping up with a look at 2021's hottest hair colour, platinum blonde. So this is 23-year-old model Jordan Woods showing off her icy new locks on social media, and she's not the only one to swap out dark hair for bright curls. Here's Billie Eilish. She broke the internet when she debuted her platinum dye job, which is a big change from the young pop star's signature lime green crown. Then maybe you too have got the itch to go platinum. I'm here to assure you that any age can have fun with this colour. Just look at Helen Mirren, Glenn Close or Bette Midler for inspiration. They use their naturally white hair tones, blend it with creamy champagne highlights, and the result? A classic ageless look. I am here for it. That's it for this week's Fashion Fix Friday. Daily Blast Live will be right back after this.
There's not a lot of hard data yet on the rise in children's weight during the last year, but according to NPR, doctors across the country are reporting signs of worrisome weight gain. The reason behind the trend isn't a big mystery. Kids have lost out on gym classes, playgrounds, and turned to comfort foods, just like adults. Some also missed out on yearly checkups with a doctor. It can be tricky for parents to address weight issues with children, and according to the experts, the best tactic might be to do less talking and more setting a good example. Talking to kids about the risks of diabetes and heart disease is usually not effective, but doing things like exercising yourself and inviting them to tag along and stocking the house with healthy food helps. There is another factor parents might want to face: screen time. A lot of parents eased up on restrictions when the pandemic hit. Doctors now say it could be time to reinforce limits. The good news is doctors predict when our routines return to normal, kids should bounce back.
Welcome back to DBL. When it comes to selling out arenas, comedian Jo Koy ranks among the best in the world. We caught up with him earlier, but first, check out a family-friendly comedy clip.
And this is anyone with a teenager. They up, what do? Take their phone away. That works. You don't have to verbally abuse them. You don't have to physically touch them. Just take their phone away. My son doesn't know what to do when I take his phone away. My son physically breaks down when I take his phone away. I'm like, give me that phone. He's like, oh, Dad.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Speaking of that hilarious Netflix special, we heard that Steven Spielberg was a fan. In fact, such a big fan that you're working on a movie with him right now. Tell us everything.
Yeah. I think that is so cool. He saw the special, brought us in for a meeting, and I pitched this movie idea that I had already in place with Dan Lin, by the way, who's over at Rideback. He's got It 1, It 2, Aladdin, all that. But he's joining in. He's the studio. We're producing it as we speak.
Wow, congratulations.
Jo, hilarious, man.
Thank you so much.
I put your special on last night.
Thank you.
For my wife, she was howling, man, before we went to bed. Hilarious.
Howling?
Thank you.
I'm trying to keep it daytime TV.
That's a great compliment.
I like howling.
If we were at a bar,
Who
I would
doesn't
talk
watch
different.
a comedy show? Who doesn't watch a comedy show howling? Why is everyone so mad?
Oh, so are you joining their side? Really? I've been ganged up by these two dudes all day, and now okay.
All right, we're going to settle our differences after you're off this call, Jo. But I got to tell you, man, in 2017, just 4 years ago, Netflix rejected you. Now you have 3 specials with Netflix, and you're working with Spielberg. How did you keep your head up through those hard times?
I'm telling you, Jeff, I wanted to quit. I'm not even gonna lie. I was 25 years in the game at that point when I was pursuing Netflix, and they passed on me for whatever case may be. But I didn't want to take the no for the answer, and I went and invested in myself. I paid for that special myself and shot it myself, and brought it back to them, and they bought it. And thank God they did, because now the relationship has been beautiful.
Yeah, well, I'll say thank God for them that they bought it. I mean, you're the talent there. Jo, this is Al Jackson here. I'm a comic, and I actually saw you. I started my career in South Florida, so I saw you when you were coming through probably 10, 12 years ago. You were right at that point where you were selling out every weekend, starting to add shows. And it's so interesting that 12 years later, like, the whole world knows about you, where before then it was just like comedy fans, but it was enough comedy fans to sell out a show. So, like, just to everybody, just to see, like, this is a build. No one just calls your name and you're just famous. Jo Koy has worked his behind off, and I was there to see it. So I'll say this, man. Jo,
thank you.
Dude, you did it, bro.
I think Jo needs to come here in person.
Jo, we need you in studio. I'm sure you come to Denver a lot, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure. I love Denver, man. That's one of the first clubs that actually gave me that love, you know, because you know how hard it was, Al, just to get into the mainstream rooms like Improv and you know, on the road. So, you know, Denver has the one lady that runs it.
Colleen,
I believe it is.
Wendy from Comedy Works.
Wendy from Comedy Works, and she kills it out there. And so yeah, I love going back to Denver.
Okay, so Jo, we're going to talk about your book.
Yes.
Okay. It was released just yesterday, and of course, we want everybody to pick it up because you're definitely going to laugh. But you dive deep into some pretty heavy topics. As someone that makes a living by being funny, why did you choose to get really serious here?
You know, my jokes, I always talk about family, you know, but there's particular things that I wanted to talk about on stage, but I couldn't land on the funny, and it's, you know, serious stuff. Like, I always wanted to talk about my brother. You know, everyone always asks me, like, why don't you ever talk about your brother? And it's like, well, my brother, you know, he deals with mental health issues. He's got schizophrenia, and you know, living with him was very, very hard growing up as a kid. And telling those stories had to be in the book. I had to let people know just where we came from as a family, and the struggles that we had to deal with somebody that deals with that type of struggle. And me telling that story was so therapeutic. I'm telling you, man, it was like a bunch of weight just lifted off my shoulders, and I finally got to tell the world my story. So it helped me a lot to vent like that.
That makes you real, though, Joe. You know, like you're very funny on stage. You're very honest in your comedy, how you make fun of where you came from and your family. Me and Al were just talking about that on the break.
And
but
me
then
too.
Also,
and me too.
She was, I don't know where she was. No, she was in it too. But and then to hear you talk about the other side of, you know, the tougher side of life, it just makes you more real, more likable, man. And I'm even a bigger fan. So thank you for that,
dude. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And you know, one thing I did learn about the book is it's good to talk, you guys. Therapy is real, you know. And I didn't know I bottled up so many things that I did until I had to actually read this book, because I did the audio version too. And by the way, I can't read. I don't know how to read. So that was the worst mistake ever. It took me like 2 weeks to read my own book. But I will say this, man, reading it out loud and saying things out loud and getting everything off my chest, very therapeutic. And I suggest that to everybody, you know, get it off your chest. Don't keep it inside.
I'm sure Sam has a couple of things she wants to get off her chest at the break.
Yeah.
You better believe it.
Thank you, Joe.
We appreciate you so much, Joe. You come and you get and sit at this table once you're vaccinated and feel safe, you know, amidst the pandemic. You come here and visit us. Check out Joe's new book, Mixed Plate Chronicles of an All-American Combo, out now. For more information, check out jokoy.com. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
We'll be right back.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The situation we're describing is called a breakthrough case. It's when somebody gets sick despite being vaccinated against an illness. So our question is, have there been any reports of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated? Our sources are the CDC and infectious disease doctor David Priest.
The expectation can't be with any vaccine that there's not a single case that arises.
And we do see that in the numbers. While more formal research is underway to track breakthrough cases, the CDC does have a database where clinicians can report them, and we checked it. Right now, there are 25 reports of people in North Carolina who got a COVID shot and later got the virus. But after looking at each report in detail, we found only 3 who were considered fully vaccinated when they tested positive. So why might these 3 cases have happened?
There's a unique interaction between the vaccine and the individual's immune system and how well they respond to it, how well do they make antibodies, how well do their T cells respond.
Priest says even with breakthrough cases, the vaccine could still be working by making symptoms milder and, more importantly, cutting down on chances of hospitalization and death. By the way, the 3 cases we found were 79 years or older, and 2 of them had underlying conditions. While all 3 did go to the hospital, the reports say none of them died. So we can verify, yes, there have been cases of people getting COVID-19 after being vaccinated, but these are very rare instances. In fact, we found 3 cases out of more than 1.5 million completed vaccine series in North Carolina. With your Verify, I'm Vanessa Rufus.
when it comes to maintaining your health, exercise is key to strength and functioning as you age. We're chatting about it in DBL's Focus on Fitness, presented by QB. A new study examined women between the ages of 65 and 80, and half were on high-protein diets and the other half exercised. So it found that both are beneficial, but when it comes to physical strength, exercise had a much bigger impact. When it comes to staying active, QB is changing the way the world thinks about fitness, regardless of physical ability or age. Try out their under-desk elliptical at home. Call 1-800-730-3397 or visit QB.com to learn more.
I will also add, if you have an ADHD kid at home, and a lot of our viewers do, this is a great exercise for any of those kids to keep them busy while they're learning, keep them sensory stimulated. It's really helpful.
Same, and my grandfather never gets off his one chair, and that's what he does. That's part of his physical therapy. Is
Really?
He's on one of those little elliptical things.
I love it.
Won't let me use it, but you know,
He's like, it's mine.
it's all his.
I love that.
I love it. I think it's a really easy way, like you said, if you're overly stimulated and it keeps your brain occupied.
It's a
very
smart idea.
important.
Yeah.
DBL is new every day. We'll see you on Monday, same time, same place.